And I want you to stop playing with Savage.
Oh.
And my little brother saw that.
Is that a demand or a request? Which one is that stuff?
It's both.
Oh.
Birdman, out of everybody, Birdman had got on my ass, like, on me. He told me how dissatisfied he is. He said, I love you, you my brother. I ain't never going against you. You know that. We done been in the trenches together. But God damn it, this is the way I feel.
What did he say?
No, he just told me. He said who you are and what you stand for and what you represent is greater and bigger than that. I had one situation where I mentioned my homeboy's name to the police. People don't report that you snitching for something that happened to you. We just reported it to have something to talk about. I don't give a damn.
So this Wack 100 situation just keeps getting crazier. For years, people have been whispering that Wack might be more than just a loudmouth and a Clubhouse troll, and that he might actually be working with the feds. And now with all the new leaked audio circulating online and the whole Big U RICO drama, those rumors are starting to sound way too real. Wack allegedly admitted he helped with federal cases, warning people ahead of time and dropping names like he's sitting in on the investigations himself. And this comes right after that video surfaced of Wack admitting he texted Big U's wife to warn her the feds were coming for him. But it's not just that. Let's not forget how Wack was one of the first to publicly call Birdman's artist BG a snitch right after BG was released from a 14-year bid. But Wack never showed real paperwork to prove BG talked. So now fans are wondering if Wack calling other people snitches is just a distraction tactic. Because if anyone's been moving like an informant, it's him. And let's not forget Suge Knight. He reportedly warned Birdman about Wack years ago, saying he was moving funny and couldn't be trusted. And then there's all the Clubhouse convos where Wack aired out sealed case info and dropped names in active investigations, and yet he somehow avoided any legal blowback himself. So now people are asking, is Wack just messy, or has he been planted in the culture to take folks down from the inside? Let's break this down.
I knew what they was getting at, and in order to avoid them snatching him and asking him, why are your prints on this vehicle? I left it at that.
So people have been saying for a minute now that Wack 100 might be a snitch and low-key working with the feds. It's been one of those background rumors in hip-hop that never fully goes away. But now it's heating up again because Big U just got arrested, and a video popped up where Wack admits he texted Big U's wife, warning her that the feds were coming for him. Back in March, Wack talked on the phone to one of the streamers on the No Jumper News podcast, and they read the text that Wack sent to Big U's wife, Stacy, where he told her Big U needs to fall back because the feds were closing in on him.
Yo,
he is no longer who that.
Yo, what up, bro?
Yo, what up? We live on No Jumper News.
Shit, what's the word?
Man, we just reading this court document that just...
Yeah, we breaking it down on the 100 side, too. You know, we got all the content. I got all this. You know, certain things was coming. We knew certain was going on, but, you know, in the day, it's like the popularity vote counts. Everybody gonna see that this man was working for 3-4 different agencies. He was comfortable. He knew his phone was hot, knew his phone was wiretapped, but he thought it was hot through the people he was working with. He had no idea that them other agencies was on him as well. So,
After you got the message, you hit up Big U's wife. You said, "Sis, 911. 1 sec, let me get solo." And you gave him a heads up.
What I tell him?
You said, 1 sec, let me get solo. He needs to leave. Bad. In caps, all caps. He needs to leave.
I said 4 bad, right?
Yeah, 4 bad.
What the 600 saying is 4 rolling 60 telling on him.
All right, so Wack, let me ask you
Oh, so that's what the 4 bad means.
What you talking about, you little brain?
Let me ask you this,
when you
Wack.
niggas go to talking, because if a nigga, I just sent you a clip, play the clip. You're going to hear the people saying, don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody nothing. Don't say nothing. So which one you want? If he wouldn't have said nothing and y'all found out knew, you would say what? Why you didn't say nothing?
And as you can imagine, the internet had a lot to say about this. Before you knew it, Wack's posts on social media were flooded with rat emojis, and fans were saying that Wack was practically using the oldest FBI agent trick in the book. Build the case, then act like you warned your marks that the feds are coming. Fans are now also looking back at old receipts and saying the signs were there the whole time that Wack 100 might really be working with the feds. People are pointing out how Wack always seemed to have inside info, like how he knew the feds were coming for Big U and even texted his wife about it. There's also talk about how Wack brought Loose Cannon on No Jumper back when nobody even knew who Loose was, and then he basically got him to snitch on Big U and his alleged involvement in Nipsey Hussle's murder. And if you watched this whole episode, you could totally see how Wack was pulling strings and orchestrating this whole conversation to get Loose to spill the tea. And y'all, please watch Wack giving the worst acting performance and acting all shocked while Loose was talking about Big U and Nipsey.
I know he ain't no bull, but man, listen.
No, so
yeah, you gotta elaborate on this.
I got to, because at the end of the day, it's like dealing with, like, you know, when you're in hood politics and stuff like that. And well, let me go back where it first started, right? So I end up whooping Molly Mall, right? Put it on camera. Guy named Big U. It's cool. They used to be brothers, right?
Then you talk about Big U and Molly Mall.
No, Big U, Molly Mall, and you.
Yes.
Molly Mall, who you're friends with.
Yeah, that's my brother.
Right. Big U, he got his name for dealing with like me. So it's not like he actually doing work or putting in work himself or whatever. He just do it and then put his name on. Same thing like what Molly Mall do. We were doing a TV show like a while back, right? And I'm on a phone. He FaceTime me. So he FaceTime me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got. I'm like, 6-0. I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone. And I was like, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that.
Did you tell him the call you just got? Or you didn't even mention it?
I didn't mention it. And that's what f***ed up, because my cousin is Nipsey baby mama. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, I could have probably stopped it, or it had it.
Stop what? That's you talking about?
No, because listen. So after I talked to Nipsey and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that. I'll see you later or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey. And so I'm like,
wait. You get a call from Big U telling you Nipsey just got killed.
Yeah.
You panic, call Nip. Nip answered the phone.
Yeah. And
you
we
like
were just talking on regular. So it's like at the end of the day, I didn't even think about it because
you don't even warn him that you got that call from dude.
No, because their relationship was so. It'd be like they be hot one minute, then they be cold the next minute, and then they be lukewarm. Like you and just 30
minutes after you get off the phone with Nip, he get killed.
Yeah, I got it.
So you think he hit you a little too early?
Yep, he hit me a little bit too early because the homie Shitty double back 3 times. You get what I'm saying? And first he shot him, boom, go into the alley, came back and shot him, boom. It wasn't good enough, and then he came back and he shot him again. But now it's like
how did he know?
Yeah, no, but
that's crazy.
It's deep. So it's like I don't know who to trust.
Now let me ask you.
And then on top of that, during another episode of No Jumper, Wack himself snitched on Big U and talked about Big U allegedly being involved in the unaliving of Crenshaw High football player Rayshawn Williams. And mind you, Wack said all this just 2 days before the feds arrested Big U.
600 has been posting, basically trying to implicate Big U of a high school football player, right?
Where has 600 implicated?
Well, when we went to his Instagram the other day, there was a clip of him talking about how this guy died and how his fingernails had Big U's DNA
here
under
the problem. Man, the mama been on TikTok, the daddy been on TikTok, the is on the fucking internet.
I haven't seen that.
The mother, the sister, I know because we ran it on Clubhouse.
So the mother is trying to raise awareness and say that she thinks that there was foul play involving Big U?
Ain't no thing. She's saying this what it is, so it's on the fucking internet. Yes, they had to get a warrant to get his DNA. And then you got the sister saying after they got the DNA, they found his DNA under my brother's fingernails. And it's some serious that have not been said.
Police, homicide suspected after body found in desert near Apex.
Is that not on the internet.
Meanwhile, social media users also discovered paperwork allegedly showing the feds wiretapped multiple phones while building a case against Big U. And Wack 100's name came up a lot in those papers. And one conversation transcript from 2022 describes how Big U was telling someone about an incident in which Big U and Rollin' 60s gang members chased down Wack 100, attempting to hurt him. So with all these puzzle pieces coming together, fans are saying Wack's been moving funny for a while. But it just took this Big U case to really make people start paying attention. And what's wild is that Suge Knight apparently saw this coming way before anybody else did.
Don't speak on my mother.
So you saying you ain't got the money to bury your mother? He like I'm a little short. How short? He like I'm tapped out.
So Wack, we ain't gonna get into all that bullshit talking. You know, we ain't gonna get into no pissing contest. We already know the real on
My company, Fifth Amendment Entertainment, paid for his mother's funeral, which is me.
I could have sold one car. My mother had money before she passed away. And jewelry. So when somebody said they want to help out and pay for a funeral and contribute, nobody don't ask them the next mother. If they volunteer, oh well, because a lot of mother calling saying, what could they do?
Suge had been calling out Wack's alleged snake behavior for years, saying he wasn't to be trusted. And he even tried to warn Birdman, telling him straight up to watch his back when it came to Wack. And while Birdman used to be cool with Wack, tension started after Wack accused BG, one of Birdman's OG artists, of being a rat. In 2012, BG was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison on gun and witness tampering charges. Fast forward to September 2023, and Big G was released from prison, and there was a wave of support from fans and fellow rappers. And Birdman was one of the first big names to welcome him home, showing they're still cool.
Man, why you take a picture with that rat? So BG be like, why you ain't saying why he was here? Why you wanna wait till we leave and then say he a rat?
But that's when Wack decided to stir the pot, and he publicly called BG a rat based on some paperwork he claimed to have seen, where he alleged BG cooperated with the feds during his federal case. Wack claimed that BG gave statements that helped him get a lighter sentence, or that he provided info that affected someone else's case.
I felt like the paperwork on the table, and before I let my brother dive in pool that got a concrete bottom a foot down, I gotta put it on the table. I mean, you know. I woke up and they said, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. I read it. I said, okay, maybe I'm tripping. I sent it to Beast. Beast said, Wack, you ain't tripping. So I called Stunner. I said, Stunner, whoop de whoop. He said, Wack, what happened? I said, you seen the video where he said Indy? He said, no, I didn't. And I don't believe that exists. I said, okay. I got off the phone. So, Stunner been calling me like 17,000 times. I won't answer.
But the problem is, Wack never showed any solid proof for his allegations about BG. And a lot of people in the streets and in hip-hop didn't buy it. Besides that, BG's cellmate has done interviews saying that BG stood on business, and he never saw him doing any sketchy stuff.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes from DC respect BG. Because a lot of times the reason that New Orleans and DC ran together. I mean, some people thought I was BG. They never seen him. I sit at the door and talk to him like I'm BG. He sleep in the bed, but they'll come and knock on the door. Hey, BG, they ain't never saying, what's up? Hey, what's up, man? I'm not to sit there with him. He adjusted to his surroundings. And he cared like how he supposed to care. Never seen no zip shit. Never seen him with no other man. Never seen him around none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And he own you where your paperwork at. Everybody ain't standing on that. Ain't no dudes.
And if that was the case, as far as this shit, word would have got around. Like somebody would know this.
It would definitely would have got around. Just you got the status. You know what I'm saying? It's BG.
Most industry folks see BG as someone who did over a decade in prison without telling on anybody. And his name's always been respected for staying solid.
How the snitch you done 13 years, 14 years? Get the out of here.
So when Wack 100 claimed BG as a rat, it rubbed a lot of folks the wrong way, including Birdman. In fact, Wack himself said that Birdman went off on him and lit him up for running his mouth about BG.
He biting the hand, huh?
So I'm not answering Birdman's calls. I answered yesterday and I lined him up. He tried to get me on no jumper. He tried to get me and I answered. I said, what's up? He said, I need to. I said, you're live on no jumper. I swear to God, y'all gonna see when it come out.
You're live on No Jumper. He couldn't talk to me about what he wanted to talk to me about. He had to go into character. He called me back after that all night. Guy was working. I left my phone at No Jumper.
Yo, this nigga.
So I got my phone from No Jumper, saw 7 calls from Stunner. So what I do, go to Clubhouse, and I make the announcement, BG is a rat. Wack, you better I don't it, because he'll show up at my house next. You know where I live at? Like I know where he live at.
Shit, yo, y'all crazy.
Yeah, I get there because you can't just get in his house, but my name down there so the security don't let me up. They called and tell him, yo, Wack 100 just came here in the penthouse. And then he'll text me and say, I ain't coming home for a month. I'm like, that's cool. I'm enjoying the scene. Oh, no, he weird dude. Like, yo, if R&B was in there, she'd tell you, she heard me and that have a knockdown, drag-out argument. She thought it was finna be a over the phone.
They don't get it, bro. That typical big homie, little homie shit, bro. They don't get it, man. This shit don't happen that way.
Yo, you should have seen her sitting on the bed looking. I'm like, you got me up. He like, listen here. I'm trying to tell you what I'm trying to tell you. Now, I don't give what you trying to tell me. What I'm saying is, and everything went for like 20 minutes.
But at this point, nobody's really taking Wack 100's snitching accusations seriously anymore. Because how are you gonna call everyone else a rat when the streets have been whispering for years that you might be the one working with the feds? It's like every time Wack points fingers, people are quick to side-eye him now. Especially now with all these receipts popping up about his alleged involvement in the federal case against Big U. Folks are now starting to feel like Wack just throws out snitch labels to distract from his own shady moves. And honestly, the more he talks, the more people start connecting the dots. And they're not in his favor. And it's not just that one Big U situation. Wack's whole track record is full of red flags. First off, Wack always seemed to have inside information, stuff the average person, even in the industry, shouldn't be privy to. Whether it's sealed court documents, upcoming arrests, or who's allegedly working with law enforcement, Wack somehow knows everything before it hits the blogs. And allegedly, this goes back to the 2006 gun case when Wack 100 and his brother were caught in Texas with an arsenal of firearms during a random traffic stop. And even though both Wack and his brother were already convicted felons at the time, the feds, for some reason, dropped the case.
They let him out first. He only had $180, but he had a black card. He says that a white man picked him up, him and his brother, but if the bail bondman was closed until a couple days later, how did you? And then he said the airport was 50 miles away. He was transferred to Beaumont, the federal facility or some kind of holding facility in Beaumont. He was in jail for not just a night or overnight to the next day. He says 6-7 days later, he was still in jail on a hold, and that the feds came all the way to where he was at to tell him, hey, look, we don't want to pick up the case. Like, why?
What's interesting is that shortly after this situation, Wack moved to LA and started working with Death Row Records. And just 2 years later, in 2008, Suge was named in a gang injunction and officially identified as a member of the Mob Piru street gang. This was a huge crackdown, and the officials identified over 200 people as members of Mob Piru, alongside Suge. And yet, once again, Wack's name was left out. That same year, Wack also allegedly snitched to the feds on the former mainstream Mafia Crips leader, Ladell Del Dog Rose. Del Dog was accused of kidnapping, robbing, and torturing Robert Ross, Shaquille O'Neal's former business partner, who reportedly threatened to leak a private tape of Shaq cheating on his wife with several women. Ross later sued Shaq and claimed he ordered his kidnapping. And yet again, Wack 100's real name was left out of all the paperwork. The transcribed wiretap only identifies the caller as confidential source number 2 back, or the Wack Boy. But Mark Stevens later confirmed that Wack was indeed the caller who informed on Del Dog. So it seems Wack is always around the people who get caught, but somehow he never gets caught himself, even while self-snitching or threatening people. And when you stack it all up, his access to sensitive info, his constant public oversharing, his connections to multiple messy legal situations, it's not hard to see why people think Wack might be playing both sides. But let me know how you feel about these allegations that Wack is a federal informant. And if Suge really warned Birdman about Wack, do you think he knew something the rest of us didn't? Let me know what you think in the comments, and stick around for this next video.